Always having such a good time with your fish friends. Hey, what's up, garden friends? Jeff. Here's everybody doing. Hope you're doing well. I'm great. We've got a lot to do today and tomorrow, and I'm excited about it. Hi, baby. Hello. Such a good boy. Turbo says hi. Trying to take in the view and enjoy it. Take it all in. Turbo, I never get to take it in because there's always a giant dog in front of it. Palm trees. They're coming tomorrow. Have a big truck coming with the great big palm trees. The crane to help place the really big palm trees. So today, what I need to focus on is, well, really I'm just going to focus on the essentials because I'm so tired. It's been a week of just, picking up in clay. It's a whole big thing. All kinds of stuff's been going on. Life is good though. But I need to move the pond, which I knew I would have to do when I put it here. I just thought, hey, this would be nice to have here for a couple of months. But it can't stay here. Back here against this wall, I will be putting 2 big queen palms. That'll be showing up tomorrow. I'll be moving the Chinese fan palms elsewhere. Where is elsewhere? I don't know yet. Have some ideas though. So, the pond. That's going to go over here. So, I need to clear this out, which really won't be that complicated. I see 1, 2, 3, like 4 things I need to move. One of them's kind of big. Alocasia lutea. This has been a good spot for it. I know it wouldn't do well there all summer long, but it's done well there this spring. The spring sun, very strong, fries a lot of the plants. So I tend to give them more shade into the spring. Once we get closer into June, I don't worry about that anywhere near as much. And look at how great the bamboo's doing. This is so nice. This variegated bamboo, it has not been fussy at all. It does look like it could use some water. You would never know though, right? I mean, not really, because it looks so good and so lush from up top, but from under the bottom of the leaves, might be a little bit dry. Shouldn't be all that dry. We had a ton and tons. So much rain just poured the other night, and the weather was being very odd. The meteorologists were like, there's tornado warnings, but not really. Weird stuff going on here. That went on for like 5 hours. There is one county south of here that was under a tornado warning for 3 hours. The meteorologists were like, the rotation is gone, but the warning's still, everything's just a mess. The lightning. Oh my gosh, there was so much lightning. Everything out the window just looked like a strobe light. A house over the hill, not too far away. I don't know if the house got hit, but you see the lightning maps on the weather apps. And saw that something over there got hit. And I saw it from in the house. I was looking out the window. I wasn't looking out the window. I was laying down. Blinds were open and there was really big lightning. Very loud. That kind where you go, oh, that was close. Then saw it on the map. It was over there. I don't think anybody was hurt. Never heard any sirens or anything. So it probably just hit a tree, I'm guessing. Okay. Then the monstera's got to get out of here. I have a different vision for this spot this year. And this probably isn't the time to go too far into that, because it's getting into a whole nother kind of project that would be it'd be one hell of a side quest. That's not the point of this video, or what I have time for right now. But I'm going to be pulling these bamboos out of these containers. They haven't been doing well in them. The yellow growth bamboos, you can see they mostly just die in the wintertime and flush out with new growth from the bottom up. I never get new growth out of the canes. Sometimes they will flush back out, but they never have for me. And the growth I'm getting out of this year is just pathetic. You can only keep them in a pot for so long, right? So it's time to pull these out. I don't like them anymore. I appreciate them during the summer when they've been really full. I love seeing the rain on the leaves of the bamboo and everything, but it's time to move on to something else. I don't know what yet. What I do know is that the pond's going to go right here. Right here in the middle. I usually put a planter right there with something really big and elaborate in it, but I think it would be nice to have that pond right here, a little water feature, because that one, I'm probably going to take that one down, because I would like to use this pot to actually plant things in. Have the pond right here. This will be open, right? Monstera is going to be gone. And, well, let me just move the monstera. You're not going to be able to get a good picture of what it is I'm trying to describe, as long as that monstera is there. I could go ahead and put this away too. Every single time though, it keeps filling up with water. And I leave it out to dry, and then it just fills up with more water. Ah, there that is. I was looking for it. Popped in the garage and grabbed some other things. Not a necessity. I'm just in the mood for bubbles. You know what I mean? If you ever have those moments where you're just like, I want bubbles. Don't drink soda anymore. I guess this is technically soda though, right? Yeah, but there's nothing in it. It's just I mean, it's not good for you. That's what I mean. Anyways, take this over there. Gonna need this to help drain the pond down. Oh, one little preview. Hope you're enjoying the ADD ride. Buckle up. There's gonna be plenty more of it. Look at all this stuff. Isn't it beautiful? You see these? Look at those. There'll be a video coming out at some point. Might be a couple weeks. I don't know. But it's been filmed and edited and everything. I have a backlog of videos to release. Look at all of them. These were $15. That's it. 15 bucks. Marked down from 60 at Lowe's. Figured it'd be nice of me to tell everybody that those are in clearance right now, maybe at your Lowe's, as opposed to, 3 weeks from now. That might not be useful information. These are big. Really big. I mean, for what they are. And the variegation on them is really nice. And then some more heliconias happened. Lots of fun stuff over here. I think one of the best plant excuse me, do you see me here trying to walk? Probably one of my best days out plant shopping I've had. Just because of all the deals. You gotta love good deals. And the heliconias. The others I've gotten this year, I had to order, but all these I just stumbled upon. That's rare. Got the pump out and drain that hole down. That should be fun because I don't know if I have a hose that's going to connect to that. And I would just really prefer to use a sump pump. But my sump pumps I use for stuff outside, it's not working. The sump pump would be better because, well, it can take big particles, that's why. No, I thought I was just gonna pull this out and it was gonna be so easy. No, it's not. I'm gonna cut down this bamboo so that I have more room to twist and pull it out. The bamboo is really what's holding it up over here. Going to have to find a spot for this monstera where I can anchor it up to something, I'm thinking. It's been blowing over a bunch this year and it never used to do that, and that's what's damaging the, see that? It's not good for it. I don't know if these are really the appropriate snips. They haven't been sharpened in a long time. They should be able to cut through bamboo without much trouble, but as you can see, it is giving me some trouble. Oh, that was satisfying. Got so many nice sticks over here. We got to clean all the stuff off of them and everything that's nice and straight. Probably the lower 2/3 of all these. Can still use those. Gonna make great for staking plants up, small plants. Mostly they'll be used for orchid spikes, probably. The reason to get rid of them, though, I am so excited to clean this thing out. I'm not doing that in this video. I don't think I am. Probably not, but maybe. It all depends on whether or not I have extra manpower tomorrow. If I have extra manpower, I'm going to utilize that because I'm going to need help getting these suckers out. They're probably going to be very difficult. I think we're going to have to go through and just slice. Make lots and lots of slices into a grid, and once I can get a few chunks out, then the rest should come out fairly easily. I know. Neither here nor there. That's what we do here. I'm not going to try and do this with one hand. I think that'd be pretty stupid. I want to make sure I'm taking care of this. Look how much sun it gets. They can take some sun. It gets afternoon shade though. That's important. At least when they're variegated. That's important. Wonder where I'll put it. I should probably figure that out before I move it somewhere, shouldn't I? I was thinking in here, so it'll fill in that spot very nicely, but it's also looking really messy, and I have a whole thing that I'm going to explain to you once I get it out of here. So, where to? Being so gentle. I threw his toy, landed in the garden. Yeah, good boy, bring it here. Come on. Good boy, good boy. Pulls it out so carefully. There you go. Good dog. Yeah, I mean, that's as good as it's getting in this video. Lots of other things to do. But now that that's moved, you can take a moment. You can do a little daydreaming, talk about what I want to do in this area. I would welcome the opportunity to sit for a moment, because I just spent a good 35 minutes digging through plumbing parts trying to find connectors so that I could get the hoses hooked up to the pumps to drain that hole, and I get nothing. Isn't that crazy? I feel like I have a piece of plumbing equipment for just about everything. Over the years, you always need something. Every project, you have to go to the hardware store and get something. And I know that the part exists because I've done it before. I'm nearly certain that I have hooked the hose that I'm about to use to the pump that I'm about to use, but part's not there. It's possible that it might have been to the pump that's up in the attic. Anyways, okay, let's talk about this space here. We can get back to that nonsense when you guys have to listen to me problem solve getting that hole drained over there. Right here, pond in the middle, bamboos, they're going to go. Ultimately, I would like to have perennials in these containers. Or just perennials, like, you know, nice big evergreen shrubs. But for this year, I'm thinking probably not going to do that. So chances are those Chinese fan palms that are over there, they're probably going to go in these containers. That, or I have 2 large bamboo palms and the Miami planters down over here that are going to come out of those Miami planters for the Edinidia palms. A lot of these decisions have to wait to be made until the palms are delivered, because I never really know what they're actually going to bring. I have an idea, but you just never know what made it through the winter. We had a mild winter, and they're in a warehouse, so I would think the plant should look great, but you just never know. The whole background there is that, you know, it costs a lot of money to heat a warehouse, and I don't think they keep it very warm. It's a warehouse with a translucent ceiling for the plants that they store in there. I think, you know, probably keep it between 50 and 60, something like that, heat-wise. I doubt they air condition it very much at all. But with it being a mild winter, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. When the plants don't come back alive, I don't know. I never know the reason why. Hopefully everything comes back alive tomorrow. I did talk to the owner today, and he said everything that he saw looked good, but I didn't inquire as to was anything dead. I probably should have done that. We'll find out together in this video. Pond in the middle, Chinese fan palms on each side, or those bamboo palms. And then what I would like to do, a larger project, is to come into the garden in the back here, up the wall, over into that landscaping area, have about 8 to 10 feet of area to work with there, and clear it out, and start popping in some slim evergreens along that fence line, and sort of plant up this area like, I don't know, like a diorama, because there are all these different sections to work with over here. As you go down the line, that's a spoiler alert, pretend you didn't see it. As you go down this line, the light is different, and there's all different conditions, so you can do just all different types of gardens all the way down. I think that'll look really neat. Main priority is going to be getting evergreens planted along that fence line, though. You can also see over here, you see how I'm turning myself? Here's how I'm turning myself. Underneath this Norway spruce here, it's all thinned out, it's just maturing. The tree's fine, the tree is healthy, but that's something that they do. They start to thin out down below. So I think it would look best at some point this year to go in, clean all that stuff out, as much as I do not want to do it. I don't want to do it because even though it's dead and it's brown, it's adding privacy. Once I come in here and clear all that out, be looking right into the neighbor's backyard over here, and I'm not going to be happy about that. Y'all know me. You gotta know me by now. If you've watched several of these videos, it doesn't take much. I like my privacy back here every year. Every year, we're adding more and more hedging or trees to help block out the neighbors. I'm at the bottom, well, I'm technically in the middle of the hill, so up there, top of the hill. I'm right here, then you go across the street, and then there's another hill that goes down. But there's so many houses up here that all look down into my yard. And that's not a huge deal this time of year. Things are filling out in the wintertime, though. It's awful because there's not leaves on the tree. Well, the pines still have their leaves, but from here and over, you just feel very exposed. So I don't know, that's going to be a thing. That's going to be pretty difficult to dig under there, too. So might be a challenge doing screening in there, but we'll figure something out. I don't know. Don't be surprised if limbing this up, if clearing it out down below, that might be something I delay till next year, because I just really don't want to do it. It needs to be done, but I don't want to do it. But in here, I'd like for this to just look like a picture. The pond right here, some beautiful plants on each side, and then you can see through to this area back here and just landscape it up real nice. It's going to have to be plants that can take an awful lot of shade. That is deep, deep shade back there. It gets some morning sun right towards the front, but it's pretty dark as far as lighting is concerned. But there's so many different things could do. I thought about maybe doing maybe more of like a Japanese or Zen style garden back there, so it'd be more minimalist style, but with some really big, beautiful rocks and things like that. Maybe put a fountain like straight in the middle, so that there would be a fountain right behind the pond that's going to be right here. Just a really big bowl of some kind for the birds. I feel like keeping up with a fountain underneath these pines would be a nightmare because of the needle cast. I can't stand it. Pine trees are so messy. I'm a spruce person. The pines they're nice. Like, they smell good. And well, these are native, so I appreciate them. The nature enjoys them, but cleanliness wise, I prefer the spruces. I like the deeper green on them too. That's neither here nor there. So big shrubs in the back, tall, narrow shrubs that will hopefully grow quickly. Evergreens, and then Probably some really beautiful hostas. Like I said, a big bowl of some kind. You know, maybe like that one over there. I have another one around here somewhere. I don't know where it is. But it's been in the videos before. It is gorgeous. It looks very... Oh, it's right here. It's up here. You guys haven't seen this one in a few years because this is the project I was going to get to, and then I never did. That one. That's a really pretty bowl. I think that that would be really pretty just centered right here. Imagine this all cleared out. The shrubbery and the bowl and some nice rocks. Maybe even just do gravel in here. Not gravel. Big stone. So you can just blow it out. Blow the needles out. I think that'd look good. What do you think? I hit record while I was taking a drink. What? That made no sense. Dumb. Okay. Got that spot open up, so now I have a place to put the pond. I do still need to put the monstera somewhere. I just kind of stuck it over there, and then I started trying to figure out the situation with the pump and the hole, because it might take an extremely long time to pump that water out. There can be some water in there. The Alexander pumps are not going to throw a huge fit about that, but I'm worried about them being able to get it set in there correctly and balanced. If it's full of water, the dang palm tree is going to float and bob around in there. That's not going to work. So I need to get the majority of it out, and I don't know how to do it because these hoses don't fit. That's how the monstera ended up right there. This entire video is going to be a whole lot of just shuffling things around, which is fun. I enjoy it. It's, you know, kind of like decorating, but for summertime and outdoors. Normal things. Nothing weird about that. You guys like that too, don't you? It's fun to rearrange. Set this over here where it won't be in the way. Oh, but I need the dolly. Okay, where am I going to put this that it won't blow over? Yeah, I'm thinking I could just, whoa, sorry, that was a lot of hand. Maybe I can just take this guy, move it out of the way. Look how gross these cushions get. I actually put them away for most of the winter time too. They still get nasty. Had them all cleaned up. They were looking great. And I'm gonna flip them over. I think that's still gonna look pretty bad. I think back here would be a decent spot for that monstera. I need to get back here anyways, because, well, that was down there. I need to clean that up. Yeah, right in here. That'll work. Oh, that actually looks pretty good. I like that. Okay, monstera might be staying there. Now, I spent the winter time adjusting this, pulling it up, because it was growing this way, wanted it to grow that way, and I've gotten it up to a point where it's much higher now. It just looks stupid back here last year, but this looks nice. Okay, that may not be comfortable. They have wheels, it's going forward. These things are largely decorative anyways, nobody ever sits on them. And with this, I can take that rope and tie it to that pole. It'll hold it up. It's perfect. Oh, and that's gonna be so pretty at nighttime. I gotta wash those balls. Keep forgetting that is an important thing that I need to do. All right, flip you around into cart mode. Grab the tote here. Go up there for the fish, and then you start clearing stuff out of here. What is this for? I don't remember. I mean, it goes to some kind of radio I don't know, it's something over here. Who knows? We'll keep it right there for now. Need to move these Sansevieras. I have to clear out this entire area. Figured since I'm moving on to probably explain what I'm doing, I need to clear out this area. Have the big queen palms, which I did talk about. It'll be going back here. Robelini will be going right there. And I don't really know what else is going to happen. Since we're basically redecorating the entire backyard once these palms show up. So there are going to be some fresh piles of things around here. I'm probably going to have to pull a lot of stuff just kind of over and out of the way of everyone. Like all this stuff. I'm just going to pull it over here. Might do that in the morning. I don't know. I just don't want things sitting out in the middle. Did you get too much sun? No, it's all right. Seemed fine. Fit. Fit, dang it. Just fit. Table. This is a nice seating area. I have been enjoying having those Chinese fan palms over there. I was even thinking that I need to pull down, need to pull down this ugly plastic greenery that's up there. But, well, I can't even get to it right now. Make it happen eventually. I did like it more than looking at the siding of the house, but it's just, I don't know, it's hard for me to get into. Oh, I just remembered a whole nother big project. I can't put that there. It's not going to work. It's hard for me to be accepting of the plastic plants, is what I was saying. The other project that I realized is that, you know, pull everything out of here, and then I need to grab it, I don't have to do that right now though, but I want to dig this area out so that it's not such a freaking nightmare getting a palm tree in over here. You can't see it right now. I'll explain it later if I even end up doing it, but the decking comes out to a point. So there's a space about this big right here where you have to attempt to lift these very large. I know it doesn't look that bad. That container is huge. And the Edinidia, it's the same thing. The way I've been getting the Edinidia that you'll see later in the video, the way I've been getting that in and out of here is to lay it down on its side and scoot it until I'm past this corner and then lift it and wobble it back there. The windmill palm, it's a different story. This got repotted last summer and it's taken into its container, but not solidly. Not solid enough to be knocking the thing over and pulling and tugging on it. When I try and get this out of here, if I have to lay it down on the side and pull on the trunk at all, I'm gonna pull the whole thing out of the container. I don't want to do that to the plant. You chilling? He's chilling. He's such a sweetheart, Turbo. I love you. It is a beautiful day. I never mentioned that. Unusually beautiful for this time of year. It's like, I don't know, 67 maybe? The sun is strong, but it's nice and cool out. It feels great. Really nice out. All right, we good? Even though it's not hot out, the sun, I just talked about it, still intense. I'm having to cool this camera off pretty frequently, as it seems to overheat about every 15 minutes or so. What I'm going to do here, should think this through. I've done lots of fish transfers and moves before, so I didn't put a ton of thought into this. It's like, well, I'm gonna put some water in here, I'm gonna move the fish in here, go ahead and put the plants in there too, and then, you know, just move it. Now, we all know nothing is ever that simple, right? But in my head, it won't be that bad. I am probably wrong. I don't know if I need this extension hose on here or not. I use that in the grow space, sometimes to fill up buckets of water. If I want to use the pond water to water things. Maybe enough of a siphon. Got a chunk of some spider web in there. That's gross. Okay, not the quickest way to do it, but that's fine. May as well take it nice and easy and slow. The fish are going to go in here, and then, yeah, well, everything I just said. I'll do all those things. Oh, I wonder how Turbo's going to take it. His pond being moved. He's really attached to it, and he's a creature of habit. I'm about to take it from right here to all the way over there. Might really throw him off. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Fuchsia's budding up. This one of those ones from Select Seeds called Orange King. Really excited for the flowers on that one. What's a wind? This microphone's not great with the wind, y'all. I'm sorry. Need to pop this guy open. These are rechargeable aquarium pumps that keep them around in case of a power outage. Luckily, I haven't needed them, but I did make sure that they were all charged a couple of weeks ago, right after, unfortunately after, yeah, I think that was March 14th, whenever it was that the tornado was like, oh, right there. It didn't hit us. I don't think it did much damage at all out here. But there were some houses that took it. That's not important right now. One of these things, just a rechargeable pump. And put 2 stones in there. Hi, baby. You need to give it a good sniff. It's not for you. You can't. Nope. Turbo, let's not do that. Let's not chew on things that have batteries in them. That's not a great idea. All right, that's one hose with an air stone that I do not think is heavy enough. I have weighted air stones coming in the mail. I didn't realize these came with a power brick. I've just been plugging them in. I have one of these and a power brick inside. I've just been using that. That's nice. Nothing ever comes with a power brick anymore. They just send you the USB and that's it. All right, let's go ahead and get this in there. Ideally, won't even really need this, but they might be in there for a while. Hey, that's pretty good. That's a good amount of flow from those. I have tested them out before. It's just been a long time. I like that you can run it on an interval, so it'll run for, I think it's maybe a minute or something, then it'll turn off, and then, oh no, 10 seconds, not a minute, 10 seconds. And then it'll turn back on eventually. That's as a battery saver mode. I don't think need that. One, I have more of these inside, so don't need a battery saver mode on here. That's the charge port. I like that they put a rubber piece over it so that if you're, fishing, you have this out in the wild, or even just because you're working near water, you don't have to worry about anything going wrong. And it has a clip, so you can put it on the side of a bucket. I don't think this clip is quite big enough for this. Oh yeah, no, that'll work. That's, I don't know about perfect, but it'll do. All right, I'm trying to get some more water in here. It's reached a point where I have to hand pump for a bit, and I might just go inside and grab a specimen container. Start scooping water out. This doesn't need to be full, but I'd like for it to have more than it has in there, probably a couple more inches, because these goldfish, they're pretty big. They're hefty. Most of these, not all, there are a couple of new ones there. Most of these were in that pond in the grow space for the last few years. They're pretty big and hefty. Okay, think we're good to go. There are a lot of moving parts here. Got everything unplugged, and I've set the actual plugs up where they won't get wet. Have heaters and a carbon reactor thing over there. I suppose the smart thing to do would really be to disconnect the base of this fountain and just clamp the hose over the side and let the pump drain this out some more. But I also feel like, excuse me, hey, I'm trying to get in here. That pump is just so slow. I don't know if that would really be all that much more effective. Piece of garbage. There we go. Not ideal, but I completely forgot that this hose, that's like attached on the inside. So it's not coming off. So just have to let the water go all over the place over here. I don't have this size. I have lots of hoses around. Not the sizes for any of my projects today. Go figure. That's not that big a deal. We're outside. Things can get wet. I don't really care about that. I'm going to be pretty gentle here with this hornwort, because I think the white clouds have been spawning in there, the minnows. Let's see if I can't just put it in there. They're minnows. Those white clouds, they'll spawn again. So, not that big of a deal. Something goes awry with those eggs, but may as well be careful with it, right? Trying to keep my train of thought going as I'm multitasking. Okay. Where am I going to put the water lily? It doesn't have to go into water. I put the floating thing, it's just sitting right there. So I can just set it in the shade somewhere. As long as it stays wet, it'll be fine. Turbo's happy. Hey, yeah, I said your name. Good boy. And look at this wonderful unobstructed view of his fish friends. This filter's awful. I figured while the pump was just trickling water out of this thing, because it's cheap. And maybe it's not cheap. It seems like it's good quality, but it is not powerful. Look at the filter pad. Okay, that's from almost 8 weeks. No, 6 weeks. There's nothing in there. Okay, this one, the fine filter pad, that is better. But what has had me confused is that I went and I detached the pump. The pump is still running, and I was thinking, oh, this thing must be really clogged up. If I detach the pump from this, it'll speed up. No, it's still a trickle. I think it was 190 or 200 gallons per hour. I think. I can't remember. That's just pathetic. I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything. It's just, this is a nice quality filter. I do like the setup of this filter. It's very easy to take apart and clean and everything, but it's just so underpowered. I have extra filters over here that I've had to use in order to get that water to stay clean. So I am definitely going to be just getting an external filter for this. It's like a canister sort of situation. It sort of looks like I meant to zoom out. Looks like a bucket, kind of. And you can have the pump in there. That's all that would be in there, would just be a pump, a hose that would run outside of the pond to that pressurized filter, and then you just put another hose in that will pump it back in. And I also like them because the ones I would get, they don't all have this feature, but most of them have a backwash feature. So with that, you turn a knob, and so it will direct the water through the filter pads from the opposite direction and out a different valve that you can hook to a hose and flush the filter pads out to clean them. And that water that you get, it's like gold for the plants, because it's just fish poop nitrate water. The fish just love it. Not the fish, the plants. So this is a temporary thing. One thing I will say about it, though, is that it has a UV sterilizer in it. I think it's 9 watts, maybe, I can't remember. But a really slow flow around the UV sterilizer is very efficient. So that's nice. That's very nice. You can also just buy a UV sterilizer. And most of those other ones do come, the canister types, external pressure filter, those are called. Pressurized filter for the ponds. A lot of them have UV sterilizers in them, but if you're doing, 1,200 gallons an hour on it, that water is zooming past it so fast that it's not making a tremendous difference, right? You need a lower flow, depending on what it is you're trying to kill off. But for algae, generally a slower flow around the UV is a good idea. How'd I get here? I just felt like ranting about this garbage filter, that it's not garbage, but it's just the pump. The pump is pathetic, and they've built this up with their own like proprietary attachment, so I can't just attach a different pump to it. At least not very easily. And I don't really like having this giant thing sitting down in there anyways. This is going to be back, well, I guess we can talk about this when we move it over there, but it's going to be back over there. There's going to be a drainage ditch behind it, between it and the tie wall, the brick wall that's back there. It's a perfect spot to just set a filter, so you wouldn't even see it. Yeah, and that would open things up on the inside some more too. Anyways, that's where we are now. I'm just waiting for it to finish draining. Turbo's having a great time with his fish. Fantail goldfish are so frickin' easy to catch. So much better than koi. So much better. Look at that. They love him. I don't know about that. That's personifying things quite a bit. But they will swim away from me when I walk over to the pond over here. Turbo walks over, and they swim up to the little porthole on the front. They start to associate him with the one who's giving them food, and not me. It's Turbo. When Turbo shows up in the morning, that means it's feeding time. Gotta love that. Don't worry, he's not gonna hurt him. I keep a close eye on him, but I've gotten pretty comfortable at this point, which is when things can go wrong. But he's always been very good and very gentle with these guys. I might maybe throw another one of those pumps on there. I don't think they need to. There's a ton of plants in there too, so they should be good in there for a while. But I'll keep an eye on them. Ideally, they won't be in there for more than probably an hour or two at the max. And it's not very warm outside, which is perfect. Yeah, just gotta let this finish draining and then can get on with things. I should also mention, I'm of an old school mentality with filtration in aquariums. So back in the, I guess I got into fish when I was very young. I didn't really start reading about them until I was old enough to go to the library at school. So I don't know, we'll say probably early 90s. I was into the fish books and the plant books. Didn't care at all about Clifford or any of that other stuff. And the rule of thumb you always heard back then was you want your tank to be cleaned 10 times an hour. So a 10-gallon fish tank should have a filter that does 100. 20-gallon fish tank, you should have a filter that does 200 gallons per hour. That was just a pretty lame way to explain things to people, because really it's more about the efficiency. Turnover does matter as far as keeping things nice and oxygen rich, but there are so many ways to do fish tanks and things now. You don't even have to have a filter. You can set things up into a nice little ecosystem and you don't overstock it. Make sure you have a mix of invertebrates and plants and just a few fish, and they can sustain themselves pretty dang well. But it's that old school mentality of mine where I'm just like, this pond over here is around 100 gallons, so this filter should be doing 1,000 gallons per hour, which would be way too much. It really would. So it is slow, but it's also efficient. Not efficient enough, though. It takes a long time for this thing to clear up if it gets muddy at all from dirt or whatever getting in there. So I have additional filters over there. Thought I should put that out there, that part of my attitude is, oh, Mr. Killifish is just me being stuck in my old school ways. That is part of it. It is a good filter, it's just not powerful enough. Okay, where'd you go? These things, the killifish, are teeny tiny. Where did it go? I just saw it. Can you all see it? You see a killifish in here? You'd be up at the surface. They're clown killies, that's where they hang out. Oh, there we go, right over here. There it is, right there, got him. I did not have to net the goldfish like that. The goldfish practically swam into the nets, except for the comet. There's a comet in here, and one that's called a Joaquin, which is, it's kind of the body of a comet. There's a Joaquin right there, but they have a fantail. See him back there? Really cute. These guys are cute. Okay, done enough complaining about the filter. Broken record there. While that's draining, may as well get some other stuff done. And the two big things that are left to do, should put that away. Need to roll the hose up too, but I need to, well, for one, need a path cleared here. You gotta get this hole drained out. Don't fully understand how I'm going to do it, but we'll figure something out. Got some leftover aqua soil here. This stuff is expensive. I was actually kind of mad that I didn't use it all, but perhaps the opportunity will present itself to use some more, because I've got the pond bug. Not saying I'm putting in a pond. That's not happening. I don't have anywhere to put one. At least, not anywhere to put one that would be substantial, I should say. I oftentimes have people ask me, Why don't you put in a pond? But where? There's nowhere to put one. Everything over here, all of this is all drainage. There's pipes everywhere for all these houses up here. Like you see, there's a path right here where all this water funnels down into this yard. There's pipes all over the place and gigantic roots too. On the other side of the yard, same situation. Could do an above ground situation, which is actually why I bought that pond that's over there, is because I just sort of wanted to have it for a while, Gotta stop saying tuh. And see if I even liked having one over there, because I do remember when I have had ponds and tubs and those things, they attract a lot of bugs. They also attract a lot of good stuff too. Don't want to forget about that. Look at you. Opened up pink. It was yellow. I was upset. Outside was yellow, but it aged to a really pretty pink. I cannot believe that the heliconias can't handle the sun over here. Has my mind blown. I do think that that will get better. Holy crap, I'm just jumping from topic to topic. We could build one of those. That was my entire point that I was trying to get to, was that we could totally build one of those. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. What else? Some stuff is falling down here. Yeah, no, what? Probably 4x4s to build a nice sturdy frame. And then do some plywood on each side. Fill it in with some foam. Foam in between the two pieces of plywood, inside and outside. Just to help insulate it. And order a big piece of acrylic or glass to put in the front. I wouldn't do the portholes on all three sides, but you could put a bigger piece in the front. My main thing is, how do y'all think that would hold up in the winter? Because this is something that I am seriously thinking about doing. Could build it, but what would that do during the winter? That's what I would be concerned about. Want to drain it down, probably wrap the whole thing up, keep a heater in there, just to make sure it doesn't freeze solid. But it's more the wood and the glass or acrylic, whichever I went with, that I would be concerned about there. And I don't know whether I'd want to go with glass or acrylic. Acrylic, I like the clarity better on it, but man, it scratches so easily, and this is outside. And also in the sun, sometimes acrylic can get a fog on it, like on your headlights. Similar sort of thing to that. Deviated so much, but may as well talk. I'm just moving stuff around. Nothing that crazy going on here. Gonna take this guy, drop him over there. That'll do. A lot of this stuff hasn't gone on the ground yet because I'm waiting for the palm trees to get delivered. Here's my pot that's just sitting in here full of water. It's also where a lot of the recycling has been headed. I need to, oh wow, lots of mosquitoes. Didn't realize the water was that stagnant. Glad I found this. I have more of them somewhere, but they've been missing, and the rabbits have been chewing up my hostas over here. Oh, the other one's just over here underneath this bunch of violets and weeds. Okay, there we go. I should staple them down, but that's good enough for right now. Started moving the bird bath. Haven't leveled it out yet, but at least I moved it. That's a step in the right direction. All right, hear noise here. Try and get that down lower. Do another fish check. I see a fish that I missed. Anybody else? I don't think so. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time. Want to make sure I got all the fish out. If I miss a fish, it should be okay. Although it might get sucked up into the pump. Don't think that'll happen though. So I've been keeping count on them, and I think that I have all but one, and I just saw the other one. Okay, got the fish. Did a final sweep. Moved that over so I can suck up some more water. He's so happy. He's such a happy dog. I didn't put a lid on this. These guys are not likely to jump. Koi, I'd be concerned, but not like with these. It's also not filled up all the way, and it's got all that hornwort, those plants on top, to help keep them calm. Anyways, yeah, back to a few moments ago, ADD. Let me know your thoughts on that, because I think it would be fun to have something very similar to what's over there, but larger. Not massive, but oh my gosh, that's a lot of mosquitoes. Probably 5 feet instead of, I think that one's 40 inches or maybe 36 inches. And then maybe 30 inches high, so just a little bit deeper. Yeah, that might be nice. I am going to pull that thing into the driveway, into a very sunny spot, so that the sun can bake it out in, so that it will be far away from me. All right, I'm trying to figure out what I should do here. I found the other sump pump. I had a backup one, But this hose won't hook to it either, and I don't think I have any more hose. I have the really small one that I use for cleaning the fish tanks, but that's not going to fit onto either one of those. Let's have a look in here. Don't be surprised, this is not well organized. I mean, have an idea of things. I have this one that doesn't have the fittings on the end, so that might make it easier to clamp onto something. And then I have a very small piece of this right here, which I think is 5/8, and that's not going to fit on either one of those pumps either. I could have sworn I had something bigger down here, because that's how we drain the hot tub, is with these things. So there's a pump or part somewhere that this stuff will hook to. Are the adapters in here? This is not where I've ever kept them. But, I mean, maybe. That's pool plumbing stuff. Oh, I forgot about the fountains. You know, the things that make the water shoot up in the air? Gotta get those out. No, don't need to get those out. That is not important right now. No, it's just like swimming and chemical stuff. I would prefer to use the sump pump. It's not as powerful as the other one, but it can allow larger particles through. And that would make things go so much faster. It's going to be loose, so I need to go inside into the garage, that is, and see if I can find a clamp. So if I can find a clamp that would fit down on there, right there, that would hold it. Then I couldn't make that work. It's a shorter hose though. So I was going to run this over to the drain, but I guess I just run it out the driveway instead. All right, I don't think that's going anywhere. Seems fairly secure. Just wonder. Yeah, I don't think it's going to pop off. Clamps on there fairly tight. Wonder how long this is going to last before it clogs up. Not bad. Shockingly effective. I still have it in there, pulling because water's seeping out from the rest of the area. This has become a well for everything above it. So what I have to do this summer, not, a dream thing like building an above ground wooden pond situation, is I need to dig out a deeper hole over here, get an aqua box to put a sump pump in, something smaller than this, and fill it in with gravel, and that can be where everything drains to, and then it can get pumped down the line to the drains that are down there. Right now I'm going to leave that going because it's still got some water coming out the end of it. It's a slow trickle. There's still stuff coming out. So I'm going to let that do its thing for a while, and then I'll dig and, just keep going at it until there's no more water in there. Famous last words. I have a feeling the ground is very saturated. We have had tons and tons and tons of rain, which is great, but that ground is wet. I just realized too that the hole for their queen palm, that's probably a mess too. Not full of water, I don't think, but it's filled back in. We have to dig that back out. Something to work on later. I think now I can focus on getting this pond moved. A little bit of water left. I think that's about as much as this pump is going to get out. Right? Yeah, nothing else coming out of there. Should unplug that. Don't want to let the pumps run dry because, it's bad for the impeller and the motor. There we go. All right, now if I can remember, this should just unclip. In theory, it clipped on. It was not easy to clip on. That's why some of these pieces on here are not clipped, because I just couldn't get them to go onto these pieces. It was very difficult. It was also cool outside. So that makes the difference. All right, I'm going to unclip this, lift the frame out from around it, move it, just put it back together. Done. Still waiting to move the killifish over. The water is pretty close. The killies don't like it as cool. That water, it could warm up maybe a couple of degrees. They'll be okay, and there's just the 3 killifish. Everything else is good. Water's been conditioned. All the biological stuff that was in there's been moved over. Hasn't been affected by any type of chlorine or anything like that, so don't really need to worry about cycling it either, which is awesome. And now, well, now nothing. Now we wait. Done enough anyways. I'll probably come out here later this evening and dig some of those holes out some more. Probably clear some more space, but I'd say pretty much ready for the palm trees to come. Need to roll the hose up and everything. There's gonna be people out here. Go down and check on the hole real quick. It's still at it. Still got water moving into it. And that's fine. It's the whole point of the pump. That should be good within a few hours. I'm going to take a break for a little while. I have some other things I need to do. And then probably come out with a shovel and dig out that hole some more, dig out the queen palm hole. But like I said, this is good. At least ready for the palm trees to show up. Once they get here, probably explains in the morning, but you never know. Mornings can be chaos sometimes. I just want them to place the big ones that I can't move. So queen palm right there, and then the Alexander palm in that hole that we're draining, and the two queen palms that go over here. I could do those myself, but it's easier to just have a team of people do it because they're really floppy. They blow around a lot, so I'm going to want them here to handle that. And I think everything else are things that are small enough for me to move around, so there will be a big force of tropical plants here to play with. I'm so excited for it. Oh, where are your fish? Turbo, where'd your fish go? Where? Oh, did he already figure it out? Where are they? Where are your fish? Okay, he was wandering around frantically trying to find them a few minutes ago, but apparently he's figured it out. You see that? They swim right up to the acrylic for him. I swear those fish freaking love the dog. That's all. This has nothing to do with anything. It's just a few hours later, and I thought you'd want to see Turbo's reaction to his favorite thing in the world being moved. That's all. Oh yeah, that's basically identical. Hey, pump's still going. 10 hours later, nice and strong. But I don't think it would last the 28 or 30 hours it claims, because you can see it's down to 1 bar. I think that long claim, though, was probably if you were doing the other thing, the intermittent, whatever. This isn't a pump review. Pick up in the morning. Okay, and one other thing before I forget. Gnats right in my eyes. Came over here to grab some fish food. And I was looking, really I was sniffing, standing here smelling the chitalpa. I was grabbing the fish food, and I had the bag over. I was like, oh, this stuff stinks. And then I was like, oh, but what's that good smell? I could smell the chitalpa over the fish food. That's not the point. Look at this. Do you see that? Look at it. You see it, right? You know what those are? Those are buds on the Quickfire Fab Panicle Hydrangea. Panicle hydrangeas typically bloom here around July, somewhere in there. Sometimes into mid-July. It really just depends on how mild our spring is. And this thing is starting to bud up already. That's exciting. That's the whole point of the Quickfire Fab, is that it's supposed to be the earliest blooming Panicle Hydrangea. I didn't know it'd be this early. Let's have a quick look at the other hydrangeas. I mean, I'd be shocked, but hey, you never know. Limelight Prime? Anything? No? No, I didn't think so. That was just one branch, but still, I would be shocked, especially because this is not the sunniest spot over here. No? Nothing. The arborescens, they're budded up. That's pretty normal. It's the panicle that I'm surprised by. What else do we have down here? The berry what? I gotta feed the fish. I gotta do this before I forget. Okay, is everybody eating? Okay, they're coming up. That's a good sign. Want everybody to come up and get their food. Gosh, they're so pretty. Water's clearing up fairly quickly. It didn't get that muddy. I filled this fairly slowly so things wouldn't get too dirty. Excuse me, can I have my foot back? Thank you. Hydrangeas. That's what I was doing. Have a Firelight over here. And this is the one that I'm really the most curious about, because the Firelight and the Quickfire Fab were both mail ordered this spring, but well, I guess I should mention that the reason that that's interesting is because that can mean that the plant's got an earlier start from a greenhouse or a grower further south. But when they showed up, they didn't really have any leaves on. This one had nothing on it. So I can't really say that they were further ahead. No, there's nothing on there. Nor should there be. And that Quickfire Fab was in the Richardson root haul. Richardson's roots. They sent great plants. I really like the plants. We have to be careful over here. It smells so bad. Okay. Berry whites. There might be some buds starting in there, but it's not as far along as the others. I wouldn't expect to see anything out of those anytime soon. So anyways, that Richardson root haul, you can see it was just some sticks with some leaves. In fact, I don't think they were as flushed out as the strawberry vanillas were, so they're a little bit further behind than these were. And yeah, these, I would be shocked if there was anything on these. These are like, oh, I'm sorry. Let me give you your space. I'm so sorry, Flower. That's her name. That's Flower. If anybody was wondering, the chillest dove in the entire world. Doesn't give a crap about anything. I try and respect her boundaries. This bird, she'll come over. I mean, I assume it's the same dove. I don't know. But for the last several years, there's always been a dove out here who is just chill. She comes and walks around the patio. Like, she'll walk around under the table. Like, I'll be sitting at the table. Okay, so this is me. I'm sitting. And there'll just be a dove walking around underneath the table by my feet. And I named that dove Flower. And this one is very chill. So I'm just assuming it's Flower. She's not playing dead. Like, she'll move her head and look around and stuff. I don't want to stay over there too long, though. I think that's disrespectful. Yeah, no, nothing. Again, it would be extremely odd if these had buds on them. Because the vanilla strawberry does not bloom until July. It might start putting up buds maybe late June, but you don't see much out of this until July. No, nothing. Yeah, okay, quick fire fab. That thing's awesome. As I mentioned, sure, I said, first hummingbird of the year, first hummingbird of the year. Where'd it go? Missed it. First hummingbird of the year. You should have been faster. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. Yeah, the quick fire fab, when it showed up, was not any further along than the others. In fact, like I said, I'm pretty sure it was behind the strawberry vanillas there. That's a really warm pocket over here, I'm thinking. I'm not thinking, I know. I don't really mulch this area, and the plants have always done fine. These Hedichiums, they do fine. I don't mulch it. Oh, I did mulch it last year, though, because I was trying to preserve that passion flower, and then it turned out this year that I don't care about the passion flower, so I'm not going to bother with that this year. Why are we having a garden tour? There's so much to do tomorrow that I should rest. I haven't moved this one yet, because I don't know if y'all remember, last year they had one of my queen palms died. So they shorted me one queen palm. They showed up a couple weeks later with what was supposed to be the replacement. It was a bottle palm, and I said, no, I don't want it. Take it back. I think they thought, it was like, oh, he'll be happy with this. I wouldn't. No, I don't want a bottle palm. They're too big. They're too heavy. They're not tall. They're just cute, but like chody. Not my jam. And that's not, but I can manage a bottle palm in and out of the house. I'm using this service for very large trees that I've grown for a long time. It said in the invoice for the fall when they pick the plants up that they owe me a queen palm. So I'm just hoping that they'll remember. And if not, there's no reason to move that one right now. Although I want these together. I don't think they want to be apart. Good morning. I guess they're doing it. Usually we have some kind of communication, but it's all just happening. Set up another camera over there. So I'll be able to watch what's happening. I'm catching my breath. I've been digging holes. Got these guys out of their containers. Haven't had a chance to look at the truck yet. I don't even know what's on it. I know what I hope is on it. Yeah, it's gonna be loud. So cut out from here and just, I don't know, we'll just hope the other camera picks it up. Everyone's all fired up. I can't let him out right now. He's going through some changes. He's extra aggressive right now. So it's something I have special gloves I have to put on. I almost said, hey, what's up, garden friends? My brain is toast. Talk about a busy frickin' couple of days, mainly this morning. Usually there's 2 people here, and eventually there was a second person, but it's a long story. I don't need the details, but one person showed up, and so they were short a person, and usually they help me get in and dig out the holes for the Alexander palm and for the big queen palm over here, but not this year. No, I had to frantically do that all by myself, and it was a lot of frickin' digging. I got some help. I had a friend come over who helped me finish off the hole for the queen palm over here. That thing's grown a lot. It's not going to be able to go here next year. It's going to have to go over here. They didn't use the crane. So the crane, you all saw the crane, right? And last year they were able to use the crane. It reached all the way up here, and they were able to lower it into the hole. But this was a different crane, and it wasn't quite big enough, so they dropped it down right here in this spot. And that palm tree's grown crooked in its container, and I've told him, I was like, I don't think she'll leave it right there. He said, oh, it's fine. The thing blew over. That giant palm tree in a 36-inch pot went poof. And as it was falling, my heart dropped, because I was just slow motion thinking, don't hit the iguana cage. Because, I mean, that thing gets shit. He's out of here. He's full of hormones right now. He just wants to take off. So he has to be on a harness or be held securely when he's out of there. But, he gets plenty of time out of there. But that's not the point. Instead, it landed directly on top of this planter and didn't shatter it. How? I don't know, but it didn't break the pie. So, no harm, no foul. But potentially could have been big fouls. And really, that could have killed someone. That thing's huge. And then when they were putting the Alexander palm in, the crane operator, I don't know what happened, but he was way off from where it should have been dropped in that hole. He dropped it right on top of this hydrangea tree. The strawberry vanilla, there was a loud crunch. Flowers okay, she took off and she came back. I imagine there's going to be some die-off probably on top of it. They're vigorous. We spent a while talking about the paniculatus today, so I'm not worried about that. My main concern was the bird, and she's fine. She's back. I'm not messing with her nest to make sure the egg's okay, but she seems in good spirits, so that's what's important. Things are not usually a circus like that. Usually they go much, much, much more smoothly. And considering things did go fairly smoothly, it's just usually I can just kind of sit back and chill and enjoy the process, and that was not the case today, which is fine. I don't mind getting dirty and everything. So usually I'm involved digging the holes, but there's 2 other people helping me who are professional hole diggers. Good thing we got that thing drained out yesterday, because that was some pretty soupy, nasty mud. Smelled pretty bad. I guess the next thing to do is, well, I feel like the video's too long to really take on many projects, like getting things potted up or planted up. I've already, without filming, as you can see, there's only 3 things left over there. I already started moving things and placing them. They just handle the 2 big guys, the big Alexander and that giant queen over here. The rest of them, I always just say, hey, just make a pile and I'll move them around. So that's what I've done, with the exception of those 3. And since I had extra muscle here, I went ahead and got these Gaussia palms done. They aren't planted up with their ornamentals, their summer annuals or anything. Everything's just kind of, it's been set in place. So yeah, I don't think we're going to get around to doing anything with planting in this video, but I think that it will be just as much fun to just walk around and review the palms, see how they did this winter. I haven't even backfilled this yet. Usually they do that. They tend to. I don't mind doing it, but usually they handle that. Yeah, I'm sure it was in the recording of this. The whole pot just went crunch down right on top of it. There's Flower. She's okay. She got out, but you can see she had a lot more shelter before. Everything right there got crushed. So I don't know, if I walk by here sometime and she's off doing something, maybe I'll try and brace up some of the broken branches for her. I think she's okay. There's still a good amount of shade in there. I need to sit while we do this. I'm spent. Okay, Alexander, looking pretty good. Really good, actually. It's totally normal for it to have some dieback on it. That's its stuff that it probably had on it during the fall when it went away for storage. And they're a self-cleaning palm. So the fronds, the older fronds, they brown up and fall off. You can see there's a really nice crown opening up on that one right there. Looks pretty good. So the thing with palm trees this big is I can't just set them somewhere in the shade for several weeks to acclimate to the sun. I can't harden them off to being outdoors. So usually the Alexander gets some scorch. That's just the way it has to be. There's nothing really that can be done about that unless I were to, I don't know, construct a 25-foot tall frame and put shade cloth on it, which, you know, I'm not doing all that. No, they grow quickly. I think the only reason I'm pointing this out is because chances are the appearance of the nice fresh green stuff on there is probably going to go downhill, but then I'll flush out with some more nice new fronds and it'll look great. It'll look great in no time. This thing's been a trooper. It has reached a size where it's not growing anywhere near as quickly anymore, which is nice. You know, they reach a certain height, and I would say it probably reached that height a couple of years ago when it was down. That crown shaft was probably down a few more feet, probably right around there, and the growth slowed drastically on it. But this palm was about 7 or 8 feet tall just maybe 6 years ago. So that's, you know, that's pretty quick growth. But again, when they get up to about this height, they slow way down. I'm going to need to straighten that out. That's not too hard to do. This one is much easier to work with than the queen palm, and it's in a bigger container, but it's still easier to work with. I'm not minding the slant because the wind tends to blow this direction, so it might maybe even be beneficial to have that leaning into the wind. Perhaps. I usually want this big long, this one, it has an extra curve to it. I usually want it over here, so I'll probably spin it around at some point. So again, that's why I'm not worried about or even interested in potting anything up in here yet. What do we got going down here? We got some little oaks, some oak trees, and then a caladium of some sort. No, you know, I bet that's an alocasia, or maybe it might be the Pharaoh's Mask colocasias. I had some of those in here. There'll probably be more stuff that comes up. There's something back there. Oh, that's a caladium. Those caladiums, you know, the ones that Proven Winter said, don't bother overwintering them because they'll just shrink down and you won't like them. That's not true. Go ahead and overwinter them. Let them dry out. They'll be fine. I've had caladiums in this container for, I couldn't even tell you how long. They come back every year. They spend a very long time in dormancy, and they look beautiful when they return. You know, the caladiums that I would take into the house, they're going to be in their dormancy from November until March, and I can start them in March. These things go away to the greenhouse mid-October, and they don't come back until mid to late May. So that's a much, much, much longer period. And they only keep that greenhouse, pretty sure I told you, it's more of a warehouse, around like 50 to 55. The caladiums come back wonderfully. And it doesn't look great. It's been on a truck, so it's all banged up and smashed. But there's some fun ones in here. I think Spring Fling is in here. There's a bicolor in there, or a Florida. That's a Florida. There's a, yeah, Florida Beauty in there. That's enough about all that. I get excited about the underplanting surviving too, though. Look at the Edinidia. Doesn't it look wonderful? Look at how nice and full the crown shaft is. That's just a huge part of these palm trees in the wintertime, is being able to keep them hydrated. The Edinidias, they need warmth to take in the moisture. And so that's why I've talked about some of my other plants before about how you can see, like, okay, summer, then it gets skinny. So that's winter, and then it gets fat again. That was summer, then it gets skinny. You know, you get what I'm saying. And with this, no, it stayed nice and even. It looks like it even had some inflorescence on there. It definitely put on some size. Not a lot. This has also reached a size where things have slowed down. I prefer my Edinidias nice and thick. I like them to be really thick, but that's just not what you get when you're growing them up north. I'm also not usually a fan of the doubles, but this one has really grown on me. I like them singles or I like them triples, but this one, I really like it. And it looks great. The crown, look at that, get up there into the foliage. Looks pretty good. Looks really good, actually. Oh, finally some clouds. Oh, that's so nice, some clouds. Looks good. I'm thrilled with how well this one is done. And then these guys over here. Y'all remember these? Maybe not, so let me refresh your memory. These, oh, good, we'll get to that later. I picked these up from Home Depot 3 years ago. This will be their third year, so 2023. right? Yeah, because I had them summer of 2023, summer of 2024, and this will be their third summer. And they were fairly cheap. It was like a Mother's Day thing. Their crown shaft was all the way down here. They barely had any trunk on them at all, any clear trunk. And I've just been waiting for the day that they would start to get these nice big clear trunks on them. Trunks on them. They look great, don't they? Look at all this size. And at this size, by the end of the growing season, because these are still small enough, right? So these are going to be growing more quickly than, say, an Edinidia like this one right here. I would imagine by the end of this growing season, let's see, where have we left off? This one's about ready to go. That one can go. Let's go ahead and just rip that off of there. Yeah, I love exposing a new ring. So I would say we should get at least 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, about like that. So let's just imagine bumping that entire crown shaft up to here. Yeah, should get a good another, I'd say maybe 6 inches max on the trunks on these this year. They look great, don't they? They have some spotting stuff on them. I don't expect things to come back looking perfect. I do think I'm going to get the fogger out and give them all a really good name. Probably good. They've been in a warehouse full of other plants. So things always come back with some bugs on them. That's just part of it. These Cordalines here, Cordaline Frutticasas, they've overwintered every single year with them. The original year I planted these up was several years ago, 3 years ago, 2023. And I just popped those in there just as like, we'll see how they do. And they've been coming back with them every single year. They don't guarantee the underplantings. So usually I go in and I prune everything out so that they don't rip them out. But the Cordalines, they've been doing great, Cordalines. Down here, there's a canary wing begonia. That's really exciting because, my other canary wings got smashed. So I wanted one in each one of these containers. Now I only need to get 1 more instead of 2 because that one looks like it survived. I don't know what's going on. Oh, this is just baby Cordalines. Yeah, these are just tiny little baby Cordalines. I don't think there's any dragon wing in this one, right? No, nothing. So these are going to go in the Miami planters down over there. It's a bit of work getting them into those pots. I usually have to do some root pruning on them to make them fit. They don't seem to mind it at all because it's not major. I put them in these containers to go away for the winter with a fresh blend of soil. I usually use something that will hold on to some moisture so that I don't have to worry about them being underwatered. It's, human error. That can be a thing. That happens sometimes. And then they bring them back. I get out a tarp, flip them over, do a root prune, and pop them into those containers. Make it sound easier than it actually is. It takes quite a while. That's why we're just not going to do that in this video. Because this video, it's actually, things got delayed by days, so this video comes out tomorrow. So I have all this editing and everything to do. I don't have time. And I think it would be fun to be more relaxed instead of rushed with that sort of a project. That's why these 3 are still sitting down there, because I'm still kind of going, I don't know what to do with them. I know what to do, but in this video, I don't know what to do yet. We can move on now. Oh, they look so good. Let's talk about some others. Windmill was here. This Edinidia, that's the one I grabbed not long ago. Okay. But let's just take a moment to appreciate this Edinidia that I got an amazing deal on. Do you remember, comment down below, do you remember last summer when they brought me a single trunked Edinidia to replace one that was bigger and more beautiful than this that had died? They don't have to replace the plants. It's a contract. They don't guarantee containers or the plants, but they always have, which I appreciate. But this is what they brought me. And you may or may not remember last summer, I was sneering at this thing the entire summer because I was just looking at it every single day going, ugh, it's ugly. It's not a good looking Edinidia. This is not one that I would ever purchase for myself. It's scrawny. And this is after I had it for a year, right? So this crown shaft was down right about here. So it only had that much clear trunk on it. And it's just scrawny. It has a weak crown. I'm not going to get rid of it, but I also don't really know what to do with it because I think it looks kind of ugly. That's nice. See? Good quality. And then, don't buy it. I mean, if it were on some kind of super sale for like, I don't know, maybe $70 at the most, then I would go for that. Robelini. Looking great. I love this palm tree. Well, it's kind of a love-hate relationship with this palm tree, but I've had it for such a long time. It was just a little guy when I got it. Maybe had 2 to 3 feet of clear trunk on it. I'd like to get up here and do some cleaning up. Need to do that. It would look really nice to come up here and clear a bunch of this stuff out, right? May as well. Standing right here. Already got all this other cleaning to do. Get up there, pull that out. It does have some mealies on it. It always comes back with mealy bugs. I spray it before they take it, and then it comes back with some on there. They did a treatment on it for me this winter. So this is just what it looks like after having had a treatment. So you can see this Robelini, it's got its fair share of health problems. Genetically, it's not the best. It's a very delicate Robelini. It really gives me nothing but troubles, but it's still very pretty. And I've had it for a long time, so had that attachment to it. All right, so most of this fuzz stuff here, I could pull it out. Actually, I probably should pull it out. I was going to say you can also leave it, but and just what was I going to say? Let nature. Whoa, whoa! You guys still there? Almost dropped everything. Nature will wear these down in time, and the squirrels pick them out too. The rest of these are starting to get harder to pick off. That does look a lot better though, all cleaned up. Again, just like I said with the Alexander and that other Edinidia, this has reached a size where its growth has slowed down drastically. And that's normal, right? It's smart for the palm trees to grow quickly when they're smaller because they got to race for the sun. Then they reach a certain height though and they can just chill. It's not just palm trees. Most plants do that. Are you pooped? He's pooped, man. He had a fun day. He's a guy's dog, and there are just dudes everywhere out here. He's having so much fun. He sees a guy and he's like, I can roughhouse. We can play hard. He gets so excited. And then we went on a quick little journey. He had to run to Lowe's, so he was really excited about getting to go to Lowe's. He was very well behaved too. Again, so proud of him. The older he gets, the better he gets. Where do you start? Okay, just needed to clear that out because you do need to be able to walk through the store without being slammed in the face by palm fronds, and these are not anything to mess with. They have those big, long needles in there. See those? Come in closer. Yeah, you see that? That's not something you want at eye level. So I always do a little prune there, and I could turn this some more this way, but for right now, I think I'm just going to leave it just like that. You don't want to, or I don't want to. I know myself well enough that pruning is something to take your time with because sometimes you get carried away with these things and take it too far. There have been years when this one was smaller that I would do a huge prune on it and then give it a spray, but it's in pretty good shape. There's some more fronds in there that aren't looking awesome that I could take off, but for right now I don't want to do too much with it. That's another thing. This company, they stop watering for usually about a week, sometimes 2 weeks before they deliver the plants because they're very heavy and people are moving these things around. There was a crane too, but prior to that, it's manpower moving these around. So you got to let them dry out. They don't let them desiccate, but you don't want those containers to be wet because they're so much heavier. So I don't want to do too much with these as far as moving them and doing stuff until they've had a nice drink and a couple days to take it in. Look at this. There's so much room for activities here. Think of all the fun things we can do in this spot. I did love having the pond over here, and I guess in hindsight, the pond would have fit right here and just push this chair back over there. But I'm kind of digging the idea of being able to sit over here in the shade underneath the palm trees. That's what I've always wanted over here. Speaking of the shade underneath the palm trees, got this queen right here. So they were supposed to bring 2. They didn't. 3, they're supposed to bring 3. A couple years ago, during winter storage, one of them died. It was the one that went right here. It's very odd. They don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. We talked about it and just tried to figure it out. And we just said, well, I don't know. Sometimes plants just die because queens are pretty sturdy. That's not something they normally have any kind of issues with. But like I said, stuff happens. They replaced it, or they said they replaced it. No big deal. So they showed up a couple weeks later last year with about an 8-foot tall bottle palm. It was beautiful, but I said, I don't want that. Take it away. Because it doesn't match. I wanted to have matching trees on each side here. It looked really nice when that was a thing, before the other one died. They still had me credited for it. And what had happened was the truck they got in, they just didn't like the size of those queens. They didn't want to bring me a tiny one. I was like, okay, well, I appreciate that. But I made the owner, and was like, we're going to shake on it, right? Sometime in the next 2 weeks, they have a truck coming next week. So I said, the next 2 weeks, you're going to bring me another queen palm, right? And we shook on it. I made sure I busted his balls about that as much as I can in a joking manner. But I was like, no, we got to get this done. So that's, I think I mentioned last night, why I just left this here, because I just had a sneaking suspicion that they wouldn't have it, and they don't. But still have this one. It's got a repot last year. Looking pretty dang good. It did get some damage during delivery, but that's okay. I'm going to have some trouble figuring out how to get up there and prune those 2 fronds back. It's a queen. Jenna, it's going to grow so fast. So I'm not bummed out about a couple of bad fronds. Really, it's 3, because that frond right there looks like trash. But when the canopy's nice and open on this, it's going to need to open up a couple more. I'm going to add some nice dappled white in here. It's going to be very nice to be able to sit here, get the cushions back in order so that they match, put the side tables in place, and get these planted up. It's going to be so great. That fountain up and running too. I'm so excited. This is so much fun. And I'm loving this too, by the way. So I went in and I put the variegated bamboo in the very back. I think that that's a nice texture to have with a water feature. And then the 2 bamboo palms. Right here, the Chemidorias Safritzii. Those were in the Miami planters. Right here, ooh, I need to water the green stalks. Those 2 blue pots, that's what those bamboo palms have been sitting in. And I would like to either put them in these containers or put the Chinese fan palms in these containers, and potentially for right now I'm just going to leave this like this. I do think the bamboo palms and the actual bamboo, they don't really go together very well, but since I haven't gotten to the project that we talked about earlier, I'm so glad that we talked about that, because if we hadn't, I'd have to explain it all over again. I'm not going to be able to get to that for a while. As you can see, there's lots of other things to do out here. So this is a nice screen. That's all I really want here is a screen for right now. These bamboos, they've been pruned back. I'm going to wait till I have help to get these out of their containers. I think I'm probably going to need it. Well, you know, I'm probably going to try and do it myself, but I should wait for somebody to come over here and help. I'm going to give it a try on my own. I'll worry about that next week. Just think that this looks... That's neither here. We're supposed to talk about the new palms. Well, I moved these. So that's a new thing, right? Didn't want you to miss out on the excitement of me moving a palm tree. Okay, let's move on. The Gaussias. This is something I moved on to that normally I would have filmed, but I had all the extra muscle here, so it's like, you know what? There's other people here. They can help me pick these up and put them in the containers. Why would I not utilize that? And that was all happening while the camera was rolling, filming the crane. There's really not that much excitement, though. All you missed was me picking up the container and setting it into these pots. I didn't have to dig them out. Usually I have to come in and dig these out some. There's soil in the bottom. That you want that for even drainage and everything. Don't want to do rocks. There is a layer of rocks because these would be way to... Neither here nor there. Can you tell my brain is spitting? What was I don't know what I was saying. The exciting part is getting these planted up, and with these Gaussias, I don't tend to put a lot underneath them, or I'm not planning on putting much underneath them this year. Some vinca and a trailer of some kind, but I like for these to stand on their own. They don't have a ton of trunk on them, especially these guys over here. So if I were to put impatiens or anything that's really big and fluffy, you end up losing that neat bottle effect, right? These have such an interesting trunk when it comes out into that little bottle. I don't want a lot of stuff in here because that blocks that really pretty view of the plant. But I will be planting them up some and then backfilling in between these gaps and getting a light layer of soil on top of here. They look fantastic, don't they? Just remember, it was only a few years ago that they brought me these. These were a replacement for some Edinidias that didn't make it through the winter that they were storing. They said, let's bring them some Gaussia palms. They do a lot better in the warehouse during the winter time. And I said, okay, let's give it a shot. And they have been phenomenal. They have been wonderful palm trees. The fronds, that foliage, I'm not nuts about it. It's a lighter green. It bleaches out from the sun. The photo, you don't want to, okay, all right. Apparently that was just too much for it. They scorch very easily. They would do better being hardened off, but it's just not practical once they reach a certain size. So I just, you know, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. This one right here does get more shade, so it should do better. But, you know, expect the fronds to start to get kind of ratty, and they aren't the fastest of growers. So, you know, if they bring back an Edinidia or an Alexander and the crown, the foliage just looks awful, I don't really stress about it because it's only going to be a few more weeks until, boom, it flushes out new growth and looks great. These, they grow like snails. So that's the only thing that I'm really not crazy about with these Gaussias is that they grow very slowly, and the fronds remind me a lot of a Majesty palm, which is not a palm tree that I want to think about. Not a plant that I want on my mind in my backyard. I'm not really a fan of those, but they make up for that by having these awesome trunks on them. And for being so low maintenance, they do not need much water. They pair up really well with various types of catharanthus and succulents. Throw some bromeliads, maybe a drier type in here. They're just easy is the thing. I haven't had drip run to these pots in the last couple years, and they didn't care. They didn't skip a beat. They looked great. I wouldn't say that they've necessarily put on growth during the winter time. That would be surprising, but they held on really well. And I would say each one looks like it probably opened probably opened 2 more fronds. They're about to open a 3rd. That's how slow they grow. It's not a very fast moving plant. I highly suggest if you want a palm tree that grows a nice clear trunk on it and has the pinnate style fronds, and you want one that you can keep inside that's not going to outgrow your house really fast and be low maintenance, these are pretty good. They do want it really bright in the house, but they aren't going to be like a lot of other palms, the Edinidias, where they want all that humidity. If you don't give it to them, then they'll brown out and they can be bratty, essentially. They'll chill. The main thing with these is to not water them too much because they'll rot and die, especially with indoor temperatures. They look great. They look great. I need to twist this one. It doesn't look very even right now, but I'm just so happy they're here. Everything's feeling like summer again, even though it's like 63 degrees outside. It's very bizarre. All right, and lastly, the big queen. This guy put me through it this morning. That hole had filled in a lot over the winter time, and the tree grew a lot over the winter time as well. I cannot, but look at the base on this thing. Look at that. I mean, that's freaking huge. This has turned into an absolute beast. Remember, if you want to buy a queen palm and keep it as a house plant, they get big very fast. 2020, might have been 2019. I don't remember, but I bought this one, I think the year before I bought the 2 that were over here, now just 1, right? Yes. So this one right here is only a year older than those. Sometimes genetics plays a role. I think this being repotted a couple years ago also helps an awful lot, but that's only a few years, right? We're talking 6 years, and it went from a 15-gallon container to this. How much clear trunk it's gotten on it. I get so excited about that. There's something so rewarding about when you buy a palm tree and it doesn't have any clear trunk on it, and then after time you start to get to see the base scars on them. It's so much fun. I know it just kind of looks like a telephone pole, but I don't know, it makes me happy. And I can even do some more cleaning on this. I think that this base right here could come off. I'm gonna wait though, this thing needs to be hydrated, and that one too. Because from looking at it up here, I actually think that the base of, or not the base, the clear trunk should go up to probably right around, I'm looking at that, at those fronds up there, it's probably more like right above this one, right here. It's hard to explain it. But yeah, basically 1, 2, about 4 or 5 of those could come off. And you see that bulge right here? Right there. Right there. That's really where the crown should be exposed to. We can clean all that off. And I do think that a few weeks of really consistent watering, the whole thing should swell up and those should pop right off. Well, maybe. I don't know if they'll pop right off. With the queens, they don't usually pop right off. Usually the frond has to go with it in order for that to happen. The canopy looks fantastic. 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't even know. A whole bunch of fronds up there, and they're looking great. Nice spread on them. Really nice, luscious green. It's a deep green. That's what you want. Shouldn't be light green. Really good color. Yeah, seriously, can you believe? I'm sure you can, those of you who live down further south. Just 6 years ago, that was in a 15-gallon container, maybe 8 to 10 feet tall. I mean, it's something I could just move around. I could pick the dang things up and carry them around 6 years ago, and now it's looking like that. Let's see a maple tree do that in a pot. Not gonna happen. And there it is. There's the review. Welcome back to the palm trees. Everybody say hi. Welcome back, palm trees. You see why I was saying, like, we're not going to do the planting up into the containers and planting up the base of the containers in this video. There's just no way, with the amount of time it took just to reintroduce the palm trees and review how they did last winter. Nah. Especially since I still gotta edit this thing and get it out to everybody tomorrow. It'll probably be a pretty sloppy edit. Sorry about that. I don't want to keep this Edinidia over here. It's just, for right now, it looks good. This looks good down there, doesn't it? I got this this Mangave. It's a catch a wave. I wanted that in a hanging basket because I thought, wow, that'd be such a cool centerpiece, but kind of like it in there with the Edinidia. it may end up, I don't think there's enough sun back here. There's not. I was thinking about maybe it would go around the base of this Robelini, but there's nowhere near enough sun. The canopy on the Robelini does cast a good amount of shade down to the base of everything in here. This is going to need to go elsewhere. We've talked about that, and one of the ideas that I had floated was to, oh, I just remember there's another plant we haven't talked about, so it's good that we're heading down here. One of the ideas I had floated about where to put that Edinidia was basically right here where this Robelini is. I can pull that Robelini up and put it on the front porch. I think it'll look great on the front porch. This one, I'm not going to be in love with it for a few more years. I'd like a couple more feet of trunk on there before I'm going to love it. But right now, it does a nice texture. But I think it might be nice to have that Edinidia right here. That nice thick trunk. I think it would look good. I toyed around with the idea of maybe putting the double trunk Edinidia in this spot right there. But I don't know. I really want it back over here by the door where the windmill palm is. Windmill palm is going to get pulled out of there. That's going to be a big project. I talked about that. I have to, well, pulling these plants out's not a big deal, but I have to like chop and create a very wide path that I'm probably going to put some stone in, so it'd be very easy to just move the plants in and out to that area. But I don't want the windmill palm here all summer. There are plenty of other spots where this can be tucked because they can go lower light during the summer. I want the Edinidia over here. It just looked so good there last year, and I don't want to change that. I enjoy the windmill palm here for the other half of the year, but no, I mean, it's just so big and beautiful, right? It looks so good by the door too, and you have so much more clearance too. The windmill, you can't do much with the hanging baskets with the windmill because it's still, that crown needs another few feet of growth on it before it can, well, before I can, I should say, have a basket in there, get in and out. And I have to prune on it too because it'll smack you right in the face. It's right at eye level. So that's going to get moved, and the Edinidia double trunk will go over there and probably plant up the bottom with some fun stuff. Maybe I might be going kind of easy on some of the underplantings this year, just budget-wise. I was investing a lot more money this year into perennials and shrubs because things are just so bleak out here. November through, well, now. Needed more shrubbery in the yard, and then the heliconias happened, which was an unexpected, wonderful surprise. I'm just saying I'll probably take it somewhat easy on the underplantings. I have a lot of bulbs, caladium bulbs coming in that I'll be using underneath some of these containers. This one right here, I know it's crooked, but I don't want to do anything about it right now. I think it's fine. We'll probably be planting more around the base of it than into the container because it's a lot of roots at this point. And last year and the year before, the plants that I put in the container just didn't thrive, and I think it's just too much competition. There's a big plant up there and not a lot of soil down there. Okay, last one. Almost forgot about this one. Oop, knocked over a windmill palm. Went out here. Cute little baby. Pull that one out. Look at it. Look at it. Keep looking. Monster. White bird of paradise. Had this one for a long time. It needs a spray. Definitely has some pests on it, but that's okay. I put it over here where I don't have any of the flowering things, so I can do a fog on it. I already hit it with the hose. And it's looking really good. Look at how much growth we've gotten in here. Look at that, all the way down there to all the way up here. It's a nice big. It's not showing on camera. There's a good 5.5 feet of what will be stem. Once these fronds right here go, once these big leaves go on this side, then this is going to start opening up to trunk down here. You can already see where it's starting to come out, these leaf bases. So right around to probably about here is where I can feel it narrowing down inside and start to get a trunk on it. That's fun and intimidating. Good thing I have a company with a crane and a warehouse I can send those things off to. Nice and big. It's staying in the shade for right now. It's small, not small enough, but it's light enough that I can scoot it around no problem. And those big leaves, they just need to be more sheltered. Last year, I had them sitting over here, same row that these Edinidia palms are in, and we had some really strong wind, and it snapped. All the big, beautiful branches leaves coming out the top. It looks like there's already been some of that going on. All right, so apparently that zoom level doesn't work. Good to know. Need to fix that. Yeah, but it was the entire base of those leaves broke off, and I tried to splint them and everything because it didn't look good without them. So I want to keep this over here. It's going to be more sheltered for right now for a few weeks. Get it nice and hydrated. We can find a fun place to put it. The last 2 years I've had it back here, and it's added some very welcomed privacy. but it also blocks an awful lot. I've done a lot of landscaping over here, and I don't know if I want it all blocked off. I think that this area is looking good. It's just going to keep looking better as things grow. So I have been debating digging out a spot right here where I just have some old pots stored and a dead thuya right there. It's from many years ago. Pulling it up the hill and letting it sit right here. So let's see the landscaping. It would still add some nice screening to the neighbor's house. This is a very wide plant, and it'd be somewhat sheltered too. Not that they need to be sheltered, but I just think they look better when they get a half day's sun, at least in my climate. That afternoon sun up until a few weeks into summer, it just cooks the bird of paradise out here sometimes. Depends on the humidity. Past few years, spring's been fairly dry humidity-wise. That's why I'm being somewhat more protective of it. Again, I'm so happy. Everything's coming together and looks great. Not a single loss. I just love them. I love them. I think the tops look stupid because they look like majesty palms, but the bases of them are so pretty. All right. I'm going to take a break. Give everything a very, very, very thorough drink. I'm going to stay on top of that for the next several days. I'll always stay on top of it, but you know what I mean, right? They're thirsty, so I need to make sure that they get their water and get this thing edited too. Because I know that the reviewing the palm trees part has gone on for a long time. I had thought about just stopping the video at the point where I had gotten everything cleared out and moved the pawn, and then like next week we could pick up with everything I just did, but it just doesn't seem fair. People have been waiting. People get excited. I know a lot of you get excited for the palm tree delivery because it kind of signifies this, kickoff to summer. For me, it does. I've heard others say that too. So I figured we'll just put it in here and we'll just walk around and talk about them. That's all we can do because there's too much other stuff going on. Hey, thanks for hanging out. How's everything going in your gardens? I'm sure most of you, at least those of you who are down south, have gotten your plants moved outside by now, but I know some of y'all still have to wait a few more weeks. And that sucks. I'm sorry you have to keep waiting, but it is nice having cooler temperatures, that's for sure. And don't go judging the appearance of things yet. I have not started arranging anything. Things are just set in place. I will be redoing all. I'm going to change it all. Well, not really, but I'm going to be improving on it all and twisting things around so that things are more symmetrical and looking right. I'm not just going to have these Edinidias just sitting there. I'll have the stuff off the table someday. No, today I'm going to clean that table off because having people over tomorrow will want to sit out there. But yeah, this is the starting point. This is where things start to jump off. All right, comment down below, say hi. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm having a great day, great life, and this is going absolutely beautifully for you. Hi, baby. You're so tired. So am I. Couple of days of chaos, but it's the kind of chaos that I love. All right, as always, and most importantly, everybody, keep on growing. Bye. One last thing. If you notice that this has a lean to it, it's because it does. It's just a very slight lean. This has been prone to get blown this way, and it is growing at an angle in the container. That's why it has to go into this hole into the ground to help stabilize it. I actually might put some straps on it this year just for extra security, but it's just slightly leaning forward, just a smidge, so that it's leaning into the wind instead of being able to blow back into it. It's been a while getting it positioned before anybody left. Want to make sure it was nice and secure.